coming, tuning in. Hopefully you hit that subscribe button. Welcome to another episode of the Shayna Show Live. All right. This is Shayna Melissa Stockman. I am officially now the world wellness expert. And I'm going to help you guys get better and feel better, especially when the doctors don't, won't, or just simply can't. But that's enough about me. We have a very, very special guest here who has a passion for helping entrepreneurs fast track their businesses. She's dedicated to helping them activate and refresh their business mindset to achieve their business goals. She has decades of experience, although she looks even younger than me. She's worked for a lot of bigwigs like, I forgot to hit the... Okay, she's worked for a lot of bigwigs like Ford, United Way, Hurley Medical Center, a bunch of nonprofits. She provides valuable insight. Miss Elizabeth Marasco is well seasoned with about 2 decades owning and operating her own marketing agency. She has a bachelor's degree in marketing and management, as well as a master's in organizational behavior. I know I can definitely use that one. And she is the founder, owner, and CEO of Brady Events and Marketing for about 2 decades now. And she is also the publisher and editor of Kudos Magazine. Kudos to you. Thank you, Miss Liz Marasco, for being here today. I love your beautiful aura.
Well, hello, Shayna. It's always good to come hang out with you. There's something about you that just makes me feel a little bit uplifted and hopeful. And we need more of that in the world right now.
Yes. Thank you for being here all the way from Michigan.
Yes, the beautiful state of Michigan. But today I'm going to tell you, it's so hot. I feel like I'm melting. I know you heard me complain about that a couple of times, but should probably just go with it because before we know it, snow will be back here, right?
Yes, that grass is not always greener. I'd rather warm than cold.
Right. Well, you're in New York, so you might have to move to Florida or something. Yeah.
Yes, maybe. Might have some property there already. So I also wanted to share with people because I actually love collaborating with you. And for those of you that don't know it, if you haven't already seen my challenges, classes, workshops online, all of my recent ones, thank you, Miss Liz, for recording and editing them. You did beautiful magic with me.
It was wonderful. It was a wonderful experience to work with you. And I think one of the things that I take away from an inspiration of being around you is I'm seeing a lot of innovation coming from your corner of the world that I think a lot of these larger healthcare facilities and organizations could learn from, because you've created an environment where you're sharing information to the masses, but you're doing it almost like in a grassroots approach where people can really get to know you. And I value that. So I had a wonderful time working with you on that project. I'm looking forward to seeing you launch that. So your audience has some goodies in store for them this summer and this fall. So yeah, it's time to get healthy. It's time to get active, Shayna.
Thank you. And that's enough about me. I want to focus on you because I know there's so many entrepreneurs out there that might have overwhelmed trying to move forward with technology and online classes, courses, workshops, and recordings. And I know you took the overwhelm out and step by step helped a lot of us in either classes or if they need extra guidance hourly there for them. But can you share with us how you got started in marketing and this whole online forum?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, going back to events, it's really my nature, my roots. And when you look at marketing, often marketing always ties around an event that's used to promote a business or organization. So growing up with a big family, there was 5 kids in my family and multiple cousins. So usually going to a family gathering, it was not uncommon for 100 people to be there. And I liked marketing and creating things. So I studied that and I picked up a job at Ford Motor Company right out of college, which was incredible. I worked in advanced electronics, technical marketing, which means emerging technologies that were not out in the market. I was typically showcasing those internationally, explaining new technologies. So things like the rear seat entertainment that was in the car, airbags deployment, anything that had to do with advanced electronics, I was marketing it. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I stayed there for 10 years and then eventually decided to leave, start a family, and then I started my agency. And that was 17 years ago that I started my agency. Yeah.
Wow.
Goes quick.
That's awesome. And people need to realize that you help a lot of nonprofits too. You do a lot of work.
I do. And actually it's one of my passions, because I believe that nonprofits can change the way that our country is in so many positive ways. You know, we can rely on things from our government, but only to a certain point. But when we get to these organizations that are approaching communities and finding out what individual communities need, it's how we can do a huge impact. So right from the get-go, I started working with specific nonprofits that really were pulling on my heartstrings. And that includes Children's Miracle Network, Hurley Foundation, and even organizations like Eastern Food Bank of Michigan. When I was growing up, we really didn't have a lot of anything. My father was an immigrant. My mom was born in Detroit. She didn't have much of anything. And, you know, throughout a lot of life, my dad would disappear. And my mom was raising 5 kids on her own. So there was a lot of times that we didn't have food. And I remember it. So as I have grown up, I've tried to take little strides to do different things to help different nonprofits. And sometimes that can come in the form of monetary donation, but also volunteering, getting into different programs that nonprofits have, and even like donations. Sometimes people think monetary. That could even be if you have a skill set that a nonprofit needs and you donate that. Or let's say, like, for instance, when I moved my studio, I had 2 studios in Michigan before the C word, but we had a lot of furniture, filing cabinets and stuff like that. So I made a partial donation to one of those nonprofits. And it was because it was little things like that that could make a difference. So, but yeah, I love my nonprofits.
So sweet. And I think maybe that's where but you and I, like, I grew up the same, not wealthy at all. So I think that helped me appreciate so much of what I have today. And maybe that's part of the reason we're so positive all the time. We're like, wow, we got food.
Yeah. And trying to help other people. And I think that's a quality that I see in you. And that could be why you and I gravitated is, yeah, we both are very ambitious entrepreneurs and try to make this world better, but we also like to help people along the way. And they say like things attract like things, but I'm still learning. I've got all kinds of flaws and things I'm trying to work out, but while figuring it out along the journey, there's still little things that we can do. Sometimes it's not even about, making donations. I think just being friendly and being supportive, going onto your favorite nonprofit's Facebook page and liking their post. Are you engaging? Are you supportive, or do you just talk?
Yes. Oh, yeah. That's sweet. And like, I have an event coming up where the veterans at my local VFW here, they just got a defibrillator and they don't know how to use it. So they asked me, so they're like, how much will you charge? I'm like, I'm not going to charge you guys,
Yeah. So, I love that, Shayna. I love that. A while ago with our magazine, we did an article on the color guards, those are typically the vets that come out and they'll play, taps and things like that at funerals. But often, some people think, oh, it's taken care of. And the vets are funded by the government. They're not. It's actually, it's pretty sad. Some of the scenarios I've heard, but through people like you saying, hey, look, I have this gift and understanding the heart and understanding how to use a defibrillator, you can make an impact on a community.
Yes.
I love that. I absolutely love our vets.
Thank you for appreciating. And, recently I was out and the veterans were there raising money. And there was so many
Cool.
youngsters. It was like a local cider house. And all the youngsters were walking in to buy drinks. And you knew they were going to dump $100 there easily. They would walk right past the veterans. They could have put in $1, $2,
Yeah,
$5.
it all adds up.
No, you know
No.
what? So yeah, so thank you, Liz, for I appreciate you and all you do for the
Yeah, and I
nonprofits as well.
appreciate all those
And
vets for everything they did. I was thinking
yes,
about them a
thank you
lot
to the
yesterday.
veterans.
Yeah,
And shout out if they're on Long Island, I will be teaching you guys the defibrillator. They can reach out to me and I'll get you the info
great.
on how to
That's
attend.
great.
And thank you. And I was going to ask you, because I know you go above and beyond for your clients and you're a real client pleaser. And I was going to
Good.
ask you, thank you. I was going to ask you where you got that from, but I think I know part of it now was your growing up and background.
Probably, and also my mom, going back to the background thing. Yeah, my dad tried the best he could, but he'd go back to his homeland, and my mom would walk to, cleaning jobs to make enough money to try to bring food home for the family. And this was summer, winter, it didn't matter, rain, snow, and she had this resilience. And at one point, she was working for this lady who had said to her, you should really go back to school. You should look for an opportunity. My mom didn't have the confidence. You got to remember, this is going back to, she was born in 1940. My mom just recently passed too.
I know.
But 1940,
Sorry.
so it was a different world for all of those women and some of the limitations that they had to face. But she ended up eventually building up confidence. She took a job at Henry Ford Hospital. It was just an entry-level job. She was cleaning instruments and doing grunt work and trying to do everything she could to make ends meet. So as time went by, this lady that she was working for on the side just kept giving her little nudges, like, you're smarter than you realize. You really should go back to school. So my mom did go back to school at night. She ended up graduating. And the short of it is she ended up with a 25-year career in allergy and dermatology at Henry Ford. And because she made those sacrifices, working those hours, going to school, coming back and then sharing what she made with her children and really imprinting, you've got to go to school. You've got to get an education. Don't wait for a man to come and save you. And even if you do fall in love with a man, have the right skills so that you can take care of yourself. And she just pounded it into my head. And
she did a good job. She did.
Yeah,
your mommy's looking down at you. She's proud. Your mommy and my mommy might be up there together.
I think they're hanging out now. They're doing little parties.
They're like, oh my God, look at my Shayna. Her name was Melissa. Look at that, Elizabeth.
Right. They're buddies.
Yeah, I'm sure your mommy's very, very,
it's a blessing.
very proud of you.
It's a blessing when you can have different influences. Like I know that your grandma was a positive influence on you. So
yes, she had that amazing work ethic
that come into our life and they can inspire us to be a better version of what we are, and my mom at 13, everybody remember the 80s, we had lots of taste, all the concerts
and hair.
I had to buy Aquanet. Yes. Really big back then.
A bottle per night.
She would say to me, if you want these things, you can have it, but you got to get a job. So at 13, I went through the yellow pages and I kept looking until I found a job. And I found a job at A&W for $1.52 an hour as a car hop.
Woo.
And but I was making money, and it was fun. It worked for me.
Yes, I had that amazing work ethic, and I think Grandma instilled.
I can see that in you.
Yes, I was dealing bazooka gum in elementary school. I was supply and demand. So I want to ask you on a fun note. Is there something you can share with us that maybe most of us don't know that's either fun or shocking or like holy or like no way or something like either funny or shocking or just like or
Funny or
sums up
shocking?
Liz, or like
Sums me up.
maybe you went live one time when you didn't think you were live or something crazy.
Well,
I don't
I've got a lot of stories, but some of them probably aren't appropriate to put on Family
know.
Time, YouTube. So we'll keep it.
Another time we'll
So
do it.
one thing is like going on to like, did you ever go live when you didn't intend to? I did. And it was during eCam was doing a training for other live streamers, and it was throughout, the whole C word, and they did 2 or 3 weeks of it. And actually it was 30 days. But on one of my live streams, I had gotten the COVID muffin top and just gotten a little bit too big, but I had super short shorts on because it was one of these days, like today in Michigan,
Uh-huh.
98 degrees and 100% humidity.
I'm glad you had
So,
shorts on.
but it didn't look like I had shorts on. It looked like I was like half naked. Yeah. So that was not good. But I did
It,
have clothes on, just for the
it,
record. There
it
were
might have
clothes.
been good for ratings though. Yes. And do you know now, because I always fear that, because one time I was on with a celebrity person and they didn't know that they were still on the Zoom live, and they were
Yeah.
saying things like they should not. I was trying to call them at the same time, they weren't answering their phone. But
Yeah.
sometimes now, to make sure, I'll either turn my laptop down or I'll put something over like this just in case,
Yeah.
or mute out the camera. But I'm sure those stories are fun though.
Yeah. No, not so good. It
And
wasn't
it's
so
not
good.
like Vegas, like what used to go to, what you do in Vegas used to stay in Vegas. And now it's like on YouTube, Instagram, and now what you
Right.
do online, it just doesn't go away.
It
And
lives forever,
now,
forever.
yes, I think some people are here to, because we know that you can expedite our journey. That's one of our favorite bands. We know that you can expedite our business journey, because I know you helped me greatly with my online classes, courses,
Oh,
workshops, challenges,
that's
and you
great.
made them beautiful, sexted them up with pretty borders and banners and all sorts of stuff. And they're definitely not boring. And I know people that you can expedite their journey, and they might be in the overwhelm phase. Can you
Yeah.
share us some pro tips, maybe?
Well, I think for live streaming, like you're talking about, I started getting into the live streaming more after we hit all the lockdowns. Before, it was pretty much focused on in-person events. So whether in person or virtual event, I think the big one is knowing what is the goal and purpose of your event or your live stream. Like, know what is your mission, and then also going in there and having in your head, like, what are 3 main points that you want to convey. So often people will go through 50 million different directions. We just need to simplify it, keep our messages simple. And the last point is technology is going to keep getting faster and faster. As the next phase of technology is created, the following phase is going to be even faster. So it's important to stay up to date on some of the technology, not be afraid of it, and just take baby steps, like remembering when the smartphones just first started coming out. This was an adjustment for all of us, figuring out how to swipe up. But with time, we all develop muscle memory, but it comes down to putting in those hours. And with time, you're going to get better. So the key is start and know what your game plan is.
Yes, and simplify. Like you said, it's good. I think a lot of us need to get out of our comfort zone and just do it. And it
Oh,
gets
yeah.
easier and easier and easier, right? If we just push
That's
out of our
right.
comfort zone. But you're right. A lot of us need to simplify, because we feel like we want to say everything in like a half hour, an hour, and then we're like overwhelm everyone. They don't know what to do. So
That's right.
just get started, break it down into steps, keep doing it, right? Simplify,
Mhm.
maybe know their audience to begin with, what they want, and keep it to like 3 main
Absolutely.
points, right?
Absolutely. And that's one of the things is a lot of people will say, everyone's my audience, everyone's my client. Well, that's fine and
Mm-mm.
great. Potentially everyone could be your client. But the way that we're working with marketing now, there's almost like an intimacy in the way that we talk to people, where you're talking directly to them. And to be able to do that, you can't talk to everyone the same and group them in the same message, for like the grandma
Yes.
to the grandchild to the no, there's specific messages on the way that you
Yes.
say things. If you're going to talk to your 5-year-old, is going to have a different dialogue than the way that you talk to your boss. So understanding
Well, that depends
who
on
you're
your
selling
boss.
to.
Depends on your boss, right?
Yeah, I
They
guess
could
it
have the
does
intellect of a 5-year-old sometimes.
sometimes, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I've had that
Yeah.
boss. So
Right.
those are good points. And I think also sometimes lighting's important, right? Or
Absolutely. In fact, just before we went live today,
yes,
we had a couple tech hiccups. I have one light that went out on me. And, from there, it turned into bringing in another light, needing an extension cord. But life little hiccups are going to happen.
yes,
I have a coach. Well, he used to be my coach. I had to take some time off work. I'm just coming back into it. But Doc Rock, and what he would say is stop doing the perfection. It's
yes,
wasting money. And he just came up with this coffee mug, and it was like, stop perfection. Or when you hold on to perfection, you lose profitability, or something at that point. Way too often, we all want to have
yes.
it perfect, but things are going to go wrong. And that's what can make live streaming fun and a little bit more personal. So just get out there, stumble. It's
Mm.
okay. The
And I
world's
have
not going to end. Nobody's going to die if the light doesn't come on,
I
you
have to
know?
give you kudos for your patience because my technology today was not working so good. Though, thank you for your patience. Liz does have the patience of a
We
saint.
did figure it out together, and it
So,
did work.
yes.
You did
And
figure it out. You fixed
yes,
it. You
thank
ended
you.
up fixing it. Yeah,
Well, you taught me well. And I think it's important to just practice, get on for tech checks right ahead of time to make sure your technology
absolutely.
is working. And
Yeah.
I like that, I'm getting away from perfection. I was a perfectionist.
Yeah.
And people like sloppy sometimes, like, let's be real,
It's okay.
more relatable.
Yeah, it's okay. And sometimes some of the perfection's unnecessary. And I'm going to share a story from when I very first started my agency, and we were doing a lot of in-person events, and I had sent over, I was a newbie entrepreneur, so I really wanted to please my clients, but I had a couple staff that went over, and they were putting on chair covers it was like an event for 400 people. But they started ironing every single chair cover that had the crease in it. And I'm going to tell you, I'm super anal retentive when it comes to my in-person events. But that was a pointless task because
Mm.
those particular chair covers were getting wrapped in a sash and all this other stuff. So what happened was, it was like maybe 8 extra hours times 4 people.
No,
Calculate
32.
that up.
Yeah,
That is how a
32.
business becomes a flop.
No.
That's how you end up spending money on needless things. And the same thing with digital. I'm not saying go fast and sloppy. What I'm saying is be strategic and
Fact.
understand when something's important versus
Yes.
we can build around it. And sometimes those little imperfections make something even more interesting. There's an old
Yes.
Japanese saying of like dishes where they'll mend a dish with gold if it has a crack, and they consider it more beautiful. I can't remember the name of it. There's a Japanese word for it, but too often we'll say, oh, throw it to the side. You know what?
Mm-mm.
Sometimes those imperfections it's part of our,
Yes.
little personality. That's okay.
And I'll tell you, I used to be the perfectionist, not anymore, because it does waste so much time. Sometimes it's just better to get it out there. You could spend all day figuring out the exact wording of a post,
That's
or
right.
that same amount of time you could have posted in 7 different social media accounts.
That's right. That's right.
And I know there was a celebrity status person recently that was telling me a story about when and they're put it this way, they own these big yachts and all this nice stuff.
Mhm.
And they were telling me that when the camera accidentally showed the husband wearing his shorts, right? He has like a nice suit on and a tie, and the cufflinks and everything. Like, people actually like that a lot. And it got a lot more interaction because it showed like he's
It's real
human.
life. Yeah.
Exactly, like more relatable, like, oh wow, he's one of
Right.
us, he did it too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and they accidentally showed his shorts and his sneakers or whatever. And I'm sitting here in shorts and flip-flops. I am. So that's the beauty of it. And thank you. You share so many gold nuggets. And for me, you took the overwhelm out of the technology because there was so much. So I think with Liz, it's important that
makes me happy to hear.
yes, thank you. I know with Liz, there's different steps. Either they can say, here, Liz, just do it all for me and pay you one price, right? Or you can show them how to do it moving forward.
Right.
Or like you have different levels. So it's important to know if they're high tech, maybe they just hire you for a consult here and there. And then or if they have medium level, maybe they take a class and an hourly. Or, like, hey, if they're like rich and totally don't know technology, they just pay you hourly and say, here, like, show me step by step everything you did. And I think it's important people to know that you can meet all of those needs if they have high tech or low tech knowledge and skills.
That's right. That's right. So we will do a monthly free training so people can sometimes, hop in, get a little bit of knowledge, see if this is something that they're interested in. And we focus on live streaming, but tying into that, one of the keys with live streaming is marketing strategy. And that's where I come in with the superpower of being able to help connect different things that are maybe related to social media or off of social media. And, there's different skill sets. What I would say is if somebody was just first trying to get into the swing and figuring out, should I do a live stream? Should I have a podcast? How do I do it? It might be smart to start off with one of our group kind of approaches of learning and expanding. But like in your case, you had this desire to create an incredible program that you're going to sell for a course and package it. And what I think was really smart about your strategy was you went in, you focused on all of your content. You just said, Liz, you take care of all the tech stuff. I just want to talk about what I know. I don't want to learn. I know how to
I didn't want to learn that. No,
but
I just want to pay you.
I just want you to do. And that's where many entrepreneurs drop the ball, where they try to do everything. And I get it. I'm an entrepreneur. I understand having to stay within a parameter of time and money. I get it. That's how you have a successful business. But at a certain point, you've got to figure out, is this a hobby? Is this a part-time job? Or is this a full-time career? And if it's a full-time career, you've got to bring in the players, the people, and the resources, which could be software or hardware or like lighting. You've got to invest in it, but it takes time.
Yes, I'll say it's like this. I remember I used to do everything myself. I used to rake the lawn and, mow it, whatever. And then I started realizing, wait a second, how much do I make an hour? If it takes me 2 hours to say mow the lawn, and I could bring in a few hundred or pay a guy like $50 to mow my lawn. So a lot of entrepreneurs are stuck in, oh my God, it's going to cost me $50 to mow my lawn or whatever it may 100%. Be. But I'm more like, okay, in 2 hours, I can make how many hundreds? So I don't look at it as the 50 I'm spending. I look at it as now with that 2 hours, I have 2 hours to make a lot more money than $50. And I think a lot of the entrepreneurs need to retrain their brain, because I would rather pay you to expedite my journey than take a year for me to figure out how to do this. You know what? In that year, I could build my course and be making thousands,
or even making phone calls and following up with clients or doing networking.
And yes, I think you helping us live stream and get our courses out. For me, what it did is it freed up a lot of time, because if I have a patient with, say, autoimmune disorders, which is one of my passions because of my own success story, is I don't want to just hand you a script and say, take this. I want to lead you through step by step. What are the symptoms? What tests you should have? What are your triggers? What foods might trigger? What foods can you stay away from? How to biohack, how to activate your genes. And and what's the mindset? And all of that might take me 10 hours with each patient. So if I spend 10 hours on 10 different patients, that's 100 hours. But I can create that course and say it's a 10-hour course for them, 10 hours of content. My 10 students now get that. That saved me 100 hours from 10 hours with each of 10 students. That's right. And it only took me 10 hours to record. So people need to know that message could go to the masses. I don't want to repeat the same thing 10
That's
hours to
right.
10 students and 100 hours. I'd
And
rather
it's that
spend that 10
mentality
hours and
shift.
record with
Yeah.
you. Yes, because then
Mhm.
after my course, they get a consult with me. Now they can ask more intellectual questions
That's
instead
right.
of just, hey, what's my trigger? What food shouldn't I eat?
Yeah.
Like now they're like, oh, wait, okay, I did this and this. What else can I do? What else might I be eating wrong? So
Mhm.
I think, so thank you, because it's going to save me a ton of time in the future. And I know people think when entrepreneurs, I don't have time to record a class, but you got to make the time because it's going to save you so much. And thank you for taking the overwhelm out, leading me by the hand, step by step, being my accountability buddy also.
And it takes up the overwhelm for the entrepreneur that's producing it, but it also creates this really rich way of your potential client connecting with your content. And that's the thing that so many
Yes.
people, they forget about. It's like we think about what we're doing. Well, what's the impact on your clients? Can they watch the video whenever they want? Can they hit replay because they didn't hear you say a word right?
Yes.
Can they
Yes.
archive it and say, I'm going to watch this later? We
And that's,
all have to figure out what are ways that we can use
yes.
technology for us.
And
It's
that's what,
important.
that's what I like about my online classes is they can go watch the replay. They're like, oh my God, Shayna talks too quick. Let me slow it down, put it on half speed, double speed. They can stop,
Mhm.
take notes, do a call to action.
That's
And I
right.
want to share, I love your events because I did some of your boot camps and challenges. And I love that when I do a live event and you're there to stream it for me or record it, that it takes the stress off of me, that I can just be the host and not worry about, is the music gonna plug in and how loud is it? And did
Right.
it plug on Facebook or where not? But I know I love your boot camps, and I'll say,
And
she
we've had a
gives
couple of
so,
hiccups with it, with anything that you do, is you sometimes
yes,
get those
but
hiccups.
you give so much for free in your boot camps. And I know you have an upcoming boot camp. And I will say, I've taken her boot camp. She totally under promises, over delivers. And then I always do the VIP upgrade because then I get replay access to watch them again.
That's right.
And then, yes, and then usually with her VIPs, you get like an extra hour where you can get to pro tips, gold nuggets, live Q&A. And I really, really, really enjoy that. And can you share with us, so people, they're like, oh my God, I like this Liz. I want to learn more about her. Where do I follow her? Where do I subscribe to her YouTube channel? What website do I go to? Or before you even go there, tell us about the upcoming bootcamp.
Yeah, sure. If you want to follow me, you can go to elizabethmarasco.com. That's MARASCO.com, elizabethmarasco.com. And you always see in the upper left-hand corner, our latest events are going on. So right now we're gearing up for our summer business boot camp. This is going to be an incredible opportunity for entrepreneurs who are either well-versed and on their way, or newbies that are thinking about starting a business online. Because I think many of the coaches that are out there that are selling things, a lot of it's fluff with the intent to keep buying more and more. But what I like to do is empower my clients to be successful so that they want to continue to work with me because their momentum's flowing and things are finally falling into the right spots. So this upcoming boot camp, we're going to talk about some of the basic things that entrepreneurs are missing that's holding them back from being successful. And on day 2, we're going to get into some really cool stuff, Shayna. I can't wait. We're going to be talking about AI and how to drastically reduce your workload. I'm talking about going from a level 1 to 1,000 times that with your speed and efficiency, but doing it in a way that is not cookie cutter. A lot of people that are using AI right now, they're getting away with producing bulk content, but they're going to get slammed down because of AI detection. And people can tell when it's not completely filled with that human factor. So I'm going to show you ways to avoid those pitfalls. And then on the 3rd day, we're going to dig into strategy to show ways that you can create a successful business model that's profitable. And I want to say this, I think one of the disservices that a lot of marketing people are doing right now online is this get quick rich scheme. And the truth is, when you're building a business, it takes time to build, especially online. You got to build up your reputation, your different things. It takes time. So I want to give people tools so they can have a better understanding of resources they can use and ways to manage their time more efficiently and how to keep their goal in mind. For some people, they get stuck on what's my head count, or not head count, maybe what's my view count. And I would rather have 100 really good viewers of my content who are eager and excited to buy versus 10,000 who do the quick, like watch a video for 2 seconds and flip through. I want to find ways that I can make an impact in a positive way, but it's not, those are the wrong numbers sometimes people are looking at. So I'm going to share some insight on that too for people. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. So
I like that. And I think usually your boot camps are about an hour a day. And then if they VIP upgrade, and this boot camp is going to be free.
It's free. It's absolutely free. So it's silly not to come.
Yes, even if they can't catch all 3 days, even if they could just catch
we'll
one
have
or
replays
two.
for 1 week. They'll be available for the following week, and then they get moved over into our VP section. So if you do choose to upgrade to VIP, you have those replays forever. And it's just, it's for people who are serious about growing online. So if you are, thinking of just hobbying, you can come and listen. It's great. I'd love it. But if you're like, I really need to figure out how to increase my income. I mean, the cost of groceries right now, it's crazy. The cost of gas right now is crazy. And for a lot of people that are renting, rent's going up. So one of the things that you can do is empower yourself. Start to look at what in my life can I do to share with other people, whether it's the knowledge or something that you have, and then find a way to generate an income off of it.
I love it. And I would say this, for the price of a lunch, they can upgrade to VIP, and that's going to be an extra hour each day.
That's right. Plus they get one-on-one. Well, it's group, but you'll have a chance to have your questions specifically answered. And
that's amazing. I mean, what you charge for the VIP is, like I said, the cost of a lunch, but they're getting 3 extra hours. They're getting an hour a day extra of you. 3 hours, oh my God, that's
and my normal rate. Like if you were to come work with me, my normal rate, it's $100 an hour for nonprofits. And then for profit sector. For nonprofits, I do a discount.
Do you want to get into pricing now? Because this might be evergreen, and I don't know if somebody's going to look at it in a year or two.
Well, maybe. For now, it's pretty solid where my prices are. They'll be that way for a while. What I'm trying to say to you is you're basically going to get a $500 consultation training at zero cost. So come down.
That's awesome.
And I think that more people need to start looking at life a little bit different. What can I do to bring some financial and resources to the family?
A big part of the reason I did it is I want to reach the masses and many, and there's only so many patients I could talk to one-on-one in a day, especially if I want to really educate them on everything they should know about their disorder. So I think for me and for many of us, it's a way to get your message out to the masses, but also not have to repeat everything. Because now, say it's 10 hours of my autoimmune course, I can have 1,000 people do that, and it was only 10 hours of my time to record, plus the hours of the content and doing up the slides and everything. So it saves me a ton of time that I can reach out to more people and actually help them. So people need to realize it's going to save them a ton of time.
The one approach that I do like that you take, Shayna, and you and I were talking about this a little bit off camera, is you do have content that is for the masses, but I've seen you in action with Zooms and some of your personal encounters you have with patients. One of the things that I love about your approach is you actually dig in and you personally are invested in that story. I recently had to go to the doctor, and I didn't feel like I didn't have that same connection that I've seen you give some of your patients online. And I thought, isn't that ironic that I'm here with this person in real life, and yet I felt like a number, and I didn't like it, because it was kind of like a little bit of a, I don't want to say scary scenario, but kind of like a lot of anticipation of what's happening. And there's some people that have a gift of being able to help people heal physically, but also make them feel like they're a human being that
Oh,
should have
thank
some
you.
compassion. And that's what you do. I love that about
Oh,
you. You
thank
really
you, thank you.
care.
And I want the viewers
Yeah.
to know when you say that it was the scenario was she was you were recording the online course, and
Oh,
we
yeah.
had
No, the
the
person knew that I was there. I
yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
like
we had
hiding in
the
the
VIP
background.
upgrade where they
No,
got the
no,
extra hour
that's
of
right.
Q&A, and they hopped
That's
on
right.
and decided to share with us. Yeah, so
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
knew. So
It
so thank
totally
you.
knew.
And I
Yeah.
appreciate that. Yeah, so all of my what I do is usually confidential Zooms, unless like I had clients that are like, hey, no, let's go on YouTube, let's go on Facebook and share it with the world. I want the world to know how to activate their genes and how much better I'm doing.
Right.
So some of my clients decide to do that, and some want to remain anonymous, and that's fine too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I have both. I have people that are shouting out from the rooftops and telling the world, and then I have people that like I'll see all the
I
time,
don't
like,
want to know.
yeah, like
Right. Right. But the
I'm
one
not, I'm
thing that
not
I
going to
did
admit my
notice,
diabetes was out of control and now it's normal, but I'm not saying me,
right.
but I'm saying I have clients like that are,
Right. Right. Not everybody, everybody has their,
and
right to
yeah,
some privacy. I get that.
I
But
want the viewer to know though, as an empath, a lot of healthcare providers build a wall up, and they want to distance themselves so they don't get hurt. That like say somebody gets
yeah.
cancer and they're passing or whatever, and as an empath, I actually feel your pain, and I'm very altruistic. That it drains us a lot. So if you guys know
Yeah.
empaths out there, and I didn't know the definition of an empath till a couple of years ago, it's basically I could pretty much feel what you're going through. I try to put myself, even if I've not been in your situation, I try to put myself in your situation. I'm like, okay, what would
Mhm.
Liz be feeling right now? What is she thinking? What's going on in her head?
Mhm.
So I try to really, really, really relate. But as an empath, that drains us a
It
lot. And people need
is.
to realize, especially during the height of this pandemic, the past couple of years, I was 24/7 doing visits like this with people, and
Yeah.
it was draining. And so if people want to follow you on social media, say Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram, what's the best? Is it all on your
I'm on
website?
all of those, but I would say the best way so you just can streamline it, go to elizabethmarasco.com. It's marasco.com.
And then all your social medias are there where they
It's all
can.
there. It's all there. I've got a blog.
Awesome.
So if you want to learn more on events, digital marketing, we're always putting up good stuff.
And I know
Looking for
you're
all
on
that.
Instagram, you're on Facebook, you're on LinkedIn, those I know. And then
Right.
also your boot camp. I guess if they want to go to your boot camp, they just go to elizabethmarasco.com and reserve their seat, right?
That's right. Yep. Yep. Go
And
there.
I'll see you there because
It's
I'm
free.
leveling up to VIP
Yeah, it's going to
and
be
getting the
fun. It's going to
workbook
be fun.
too.
We have quite a few people signed up for VIP already. And what I'm going to tell you is this. Each day, people that come are going to have walk away things that they're going to go do that day to
Calls to
implement
action.
onto their specific business. And again, this is if you're just emerging and thinking about becoming a business owner, or
Awesome.
maybe you're a business leader and maybe some of your marketing stale. Maybe you can't figure out what's happening with some of this technology. I'm going to give you some
Yes.
golden nuggets that are going to be worth your investment.
And yes, and then in the future, if they end up taking one of my online classes, courses, or workshops, they'll see the finished product of your work with someone else. Because yeah. So
but I'm gonna say Shayna was a little bit of a bad boop. She knocked it out of the park, you guys. When we were doing those presentations, she became the presentation guru. She went skyrocketing. I'm going to tell you what, I'm actually looking forward to your community being able to see what you created. You did so good.
And thank you. And I give you a huge credit, because a lot of it, when I look back at how we started, like say, if I look back at a challenge I did a year ago, burning out, and then I look forward, the next one, I'm like, oh, my slides got better. My presentation got better. My camera angle got better. And I see the progress. And if you guys saw, if you haven't seen anything lately of mine and you haven't seen it in a year, it's like a million times better. So I look at all the progress I've made, and they have looking forward to all the online classes, courses, and workshops we created. My autoimmune disorder one. And
so
Liz helped
better.
me. Yes, what we did was we broke it down into 15-minute mini modules. So people can do them if they have a lunch break, they're hands-free cooking dinner or driving home, whatever it may be. I don't recommend
Yeah.
driving, but so that's great that you helped me break it into mini modules. So we're going to have
the
one coming up.
content itself that you put in
It's
there,
killer. It
it is so good. I learned so much
thank
throughout
you.
that whole time period.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're going to look forward to autoimmune disorder, get healthy and happy with your autoimmune disorder. Biohacking basics, like what is this activating the genes in Shayna? How she
I didn't even know what biohacking was till I met you.
Yeah, but
and
now
like, oh my gosh, I feel enlightened. I love it.
Thank you. I don't have to repeat it 100 times for everybody that asks. I'm like, just buy my course, just get my
It's
class,
so
my
cool.
class. And then there's going to be food pharmacy, right? How to use food for medicinal purposes and foods that to stay away from that might aggravate their autoimmune or their celiac. And not just don't do this, but what to do instead. And then there's also mindset mastery, right? We did that one. That has some cool homework calls to action.
It was so
and
good.
Then we have the bundle that's coming out, the Burnout to Blissful, how to avoid burnout prevention and recovery. And I like the calls to action in that. I think people are going to like it. And you're going to like her banners that she did and the pretty borders and the sound effects. And that's cool.
You knocked it out of the park. I can't even take credit for that. I was just operating the camera and the audio.
Oh, no, girl, you did a lot. Thank you. And do you have any
presentation
final
guru? That's what we'll call you.
I hope definitely go to ElizabethMarasco.com, Marasco.com. Register for the free boot camp coming up this month, 1 hour a day for 3 days. If you can't make all 3, just come one. If you want to level up to VIP, I'll see you there for the live Q&A after. And I'm getting my workbook there. And then follow her on all social medias. You do beautiful emails, so you'll get her email blast once in a while. Even if you just sign up for the free boot camp and just come one day, and then you get the emails once in a while to see what's going on. And
it's going to be so good. You're going to want to be there all 3 days. It's so good.
Yes, and normally she's a lot of fun and bubbly and always smiling.
Normally, what do you say it?
No, I'm just saying, I know now you're a little focused and concentrated.
Yeah.
Any final words you want to say, or you have a tagline or anything you want to give them?
I'm actually really grateful I met you. I feel like you started off as a client, but I feel like you're my friend, and I feel like you've been a mentor to me. So you're a blessing in my life, Shayna, and I'm really grateful for you. Yeah.
This is a romance. We have a romance.
We too. Yeah.
Right. I don't know if people heard of romances before. They've heard of romances. This is a romance.
Yeah, it's a romance. And I like to give Shayna a to-do list regularly.
Yes.
Honeydew.
They're good. They're calls to action. It's like a work wife, but sometimes usually your work wife does things for you. She gives me the to-dos, but it helps me move along. Like next step, like, hey, did you do this? Or hey, why don't you do that? So that's good. And
you don't mess around. That's the thing I will tell you when I'm like, you should do this.
I get her done.
It's like done. I'm like, wow.
Yeah. This helps me get her done. Yeah.
I know you're getting me motivated, Shayna.
I'll just pop a couple of these. We'll be going all night long. We'll do another all-nighter. So that's awesome. So thank you. Any final words?
No, take care of yourself. Go after your dream and stop procrastinating living life. Live it full. It's short.
Get her done, and we'll see you on the boot. And definitely, if you guys haven't subscribed, click that subscribe button now. Give us a thumbs up, a comment, and subscribe.
Boom. Give it a thumbs.
All right. Love you guys. Be well.
Biohack
all along. Love you. And I'll see you at the boot camp. And you guys need to register. Go to Elizabeth Marasco, Marasco.com, and register for your free summer boot camp. See you there.
Yeah.